Fantastic, that's great, thank you. And good morning, everybody. Thanks for inviting me along, and thanks, Tracy. That was brilliant to hear. And I was quite pleased you hadn't gone down the road of compostable packaging, because there's a whole host of issues with that. If anyone needs more information, just get in touch. But I work for Zero Waste Scotland, which is an organisation funded by the Scottish Government and European Regional Development Fund to look at resources across Scotland. And I was particularly asked to talk today about our carbon impact and some research that we've done recently. So last year we did a load of research about the carbon sort of impact in Scotland. And as a result of it, launched this campaign you can see on the screen about consuming responsibly, and about trying to get the message across that everything we buy has a carbon cost. Hopefully my slide has moved on, let me know if not. But what we established was that 82% of our carbon footprint in Scotland comes from consumption. So from all the goods, materials and services that we produce, use, and in the case of products, often throw out after just one use. So like that compostable packaging or the plastic packaging, a lot of those things. And we often get the feedback, oh, we're just Scotland, we're just a small place, we don't have much impact on the world. But actually almost half of these emissions are produced overseas, where we import so many of our things from. So we can't just look at Scotland, we can't blame the rest of the world. We are part of a bigger picture and we need to act accordingly. And to put it into perspective, the carbon footprint per person in Scotland is 13 tonnes of CO2 emissions, compared to a world average of just 1.2 tonnes. So we are particularly bad at this. We really need to address what we're doing in order to reach the Paris Agreement goal of reducing warming to 2 degrees. So we are all responsible for this. We also launched a material flow account last week or the week before, which was looking at the flow of materials in and out of Scotland, so built on that research from last year. So it looked at the domestically extracted materials. So this could be things like our gas and wood, things that we extract and produce here. The imported raw materials, so things from steel to laptop to fruit and vegetables, and then the exported raw materials. So things like oil and gas, whiskey and clothes that we ship overseas. And you can see the spread here. There's a lot more information on our website. I'm not going to go into any of the detail, but there's a link at the top here, and I'll give the slides to the organisers and you can get hold of those if you want them and have a look at that. So I think one thing in the current situation with Russia is, as well, when you look at this, you think there's a lot of things that we get in from overseas, which for some of it, like a lot of food produce and things may actually be better for the environment to come in from overseas because they have the climate to grow these things. But with other raw materials, it may be that there are things that we are relying on the likes of Russia or Ukraine to supply. And when situations happen like currently, then there is a big issue that there's a scarcity and it affects prices as well. So that's why we do a lot of work looking at something called the circular economy, which is all about trying to keep resources within Scotland more and make better use of things, reuse things, repair things, and all of that. So that is a big focus of ours, which if you're a business owner might sound like it might sound a bit scary and like we might be impacting on your business. But actually research has shown that we can use less resources without shrinking our economy. And the figures prove that. So between 2011 and 2017, our economy grew by 11%, whilst our resource use was actually declining. So we can decouple economic growth from resource growth, but we're not doing it quick enough. We need to do far more. And it's not just about recycling, it's about reducing the materials that we consume. And there is a lot of support for that. So again, if you are a business owner, there is a website there, our Circular Economy Accelerator, with loads and loads of advice on how you can do that, how you can reduce your impact on resources, how you can maybe offer products in different ways. There's case studies and all sorts of support, so worth having a look. But also from our point of view, we need to push this message to individuals as well. So hence this campaign, encouraging people to think about how they shop differently. As part of the research we did around that, we did a lot of interviewing people and got a lot of feedback as well. And some of the challenges that came up, I would like to think are also opportunities. So the first one, 46% of people think they're already doing all they can. I don't know who these people are, but I don't know anyone who's doing everything they could possibly do. So there is an opportunity for us as Zero Waste Scotland, but also for businesses out there to help show people other things they can do. And as individuals, investigate other things that you could be doing. A lot of people are blaming businesses. They want to see businesses doing more to tackle climate change. Again, I see this as an opportunity for businesses to differentiate yourself. So showing what you are doing to tackle climate change to make you stand out from the competition, in the same way as promoting your fair trade credentials makes you stand out from the others and is a good selling point. Your environmental credentials are can be a similar benefit. And the last one, there is this misconception that recycling is one of the most effective ways we can help climate change. And again, there's an opportunity there for us to show that actually there are things better than recycling. I don't know if you've seen the waste hierarchy, but reduce and reuse are up there above recycling. If we can reduce and reuse things, that's not going to, it's going to mean we don't need to recycle things so much, because recycling does use resources, it uses energy, it uses a lot of causes issues. And compostables items I would throw in there as well, that they have a lot of issues which we can address another time if anyone's got any questions. But just to finish off with, as individuals, so what can we all do in our daily lives? Well, I think use what you have, so such as reducing food waste, which Tracy touched on beautifully there. So yeah, if we can make sure we don't throw food away. So I am pleased to say I did open a tin of coconut milk last weekend to make something, and it only used 100 ml of it. So I have since made 2 other dishes this week using coconut milk to use all that up, and they were all delicious. So that was my bit of making sure I didn't waste any of that tin this week. Look after what you have. So things like textiles have a huge carbon impact, and 32% of our carbon impact is from textiles. So making sure that if we have clothes, we look after them, we wash them at the right temperature, we repair them, all these sorts of things. You know, the most environmentally friendly thing is always the one that you already have, so look after it. Buy things to last and that you'll use again and again. So you know, if we're actually invited out to a grand ball or something, chance to be a fine thing at the moment, is it worth going and buying something just for that you're only going to wear once? You know, only really we should be buying things that we are going to make good use of. And if we can't make good use of it, could we rent it or could we borrow it? There's some fantastic Scottish companies out there now renting clothes and doing different sort of schemes, or swap shops. So lots of different alternatives. And ditch the disposables. And I've put in brackets whatever they are made of. This is back to my bugbear that you may gather from the fact it's the 3rd time I've mentioned it. Compostables are not always the answer. If we can avoid anything that is single use, that is disposable, then that is going to help. So that's me. There's some links there. You can get some more information, or you can get in touch with me. But thank you very much, and I'll stop sharing my screen.